My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. Today's Gospel reading comes out from Luke. Jesus said to his disciples, "Be merciful, just as your Father is merciful. Stop judging, and you will not be judged. Stop condemning, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven." Jesus, your words call to me. We, who wound others and are wounded, we are called to be merciful. We are called to control our judgment. We are called to forgive. And this from our heart. We read from the book of Jeremiah, "More torturous than anything is the human heart. Beyond remedy, who can understand it? I, the Lord, explore the mind and test the heart, giving to all according to their ways, according to the fruit of their deeds." You, Jesus, true man, with a true human heart, true God with a sacred heart, you teach us the way. Saint Josemaria says, "Cepit facere et docere," Latin for "he began to do and to teach." You and I have to bear witness with our example, because we cannot bear a double life. We cannot preach what we do not practice. In other words, we have to teach what we are at least struggling to put into practice. I think of where you did put this into practice, Lord, in a very beautiful way. We think of the woman caught in adultery, this vignette in St. John's Gospel, chapter 8. It says, "Early in the morning he arrived in the temple area, and all the people started to come to him, and he sat down and taught them. The scribes and Pharisees then brought a woman who had been caught in adultery and made her stand in the middle. They said to him, 'Teacher, this woman was caught in the very act of committing adultery. Now, in the law, Moses commanded us to stone such women. What do you say?' They said this to test him, so that they could have something to charge against him. Jesus bent down and began to write on the ground with his finger. But when they continued asking him, he straightened up and said to them, 'Let the one among you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her.' Again he bent down and wrote on the ground. And in response they went away one by one, beginning with the elders. So he was left alone with the woman before him. Then Jesus straightened up and said to her, 'Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?' She replied, 'No one, sir.' Then Jesus said, 'Neither do I condemn you. Go, and from now on do not sin any more.'" Jesus, they tried to trap you. They tried to pit the law against your heart. A dilemma, it seems, and we know it well. If you say the law must be held, the woman gets stoned. If you say the law must be broken here, then they call you a lawbreaker. Jesus, you find the middle ground, that of mercy, honor for the law, and forgiveness and compassion for the sinner. Jesus, I marvel at your compassion. In the most difficult time, at the cross, there, in Luke it says, "When they came to the place called the Skull, they crucified him, and the criminals there, one on his right and one on the other on his left. Then Jesus said, 'Father, forgive them. They know not what they do.'" Lord, you found excuses even for these who crucify you, the holy, the innocent one. Help me to find my way. Help me to be like you in this Lent, to find my way to mercy, forgiveness, to guard my judgments, to hold back, to not be rash. In June of 1996, a branch of the Ku Klux Klan, a avowedly racist group, announced plans to hold a rally in Ann Arbor, Michigan. A number of people in that Ann Arbor area planned to hold a counter-protest against the Ku Klux Klan's presence on the day of the rally. On the day of the march, the police did a very good job of keeping the two sides apart. However, one fellow, all dressed up in SS tattoos and Confederate flags, strolled to the wrong side of the crowd. It's unclear whether he meant to join the march or was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. The protest proceeded until one protester announced over a megaphone that there was a Klansman in the crowd. The unnamed man was a middle-aged white male wearing a T-shirt depicting the Confederate flag and an SS tattoo. The man began to run but was knocked down, kicked, and beaten with placards. Keziah Thomas, an 18-year-old black woman, threw herself atop the man to protect him from the rampaging crowd and shouted for the attackers to stop, and is credited as saying that, you can't beat goodness into a person. Shortly after that point, the police arrived at the scene. The young Thomas never saw the man again, but months later she was approached by another man, this one offering thanks. When she asked, "What for?" the man replied, "That was my dad." Keziah Thomas expressed that she had protected the man due to her own religious convictions and because she, quote, "knew what it was like to be hurt. The many times that happened, I wish I would have had someone to stand up for me." When we're angry, isn't it true? It's sometimes our natural reaction to want to hurt the one who hurt us. But if you have mercy, you don't blame, shame, or punish, even if they deserve it. Mercy sets the wrongdoer free from the fear of punishment and allows them instead to be perfected by love. In this time of Lent, Jesus, you ask me to follow you so close along the way to Calvary, that I begin to be like you, talk like you, walk like you, but more than that, to have the heart that you have, to see others in a different way, even myself. Jesus, I know you don't give me what I deserve in punishment. You give me forgiveness. You give me your very self in the Eucharist, and you ask me only in this time of Lent to come along the way with a decided choice of sacrifice and prayer, of almsgiving and fasting, that being tough on myself, then what? I might be able to be easier, merciful, and understanding. If I'm tough on myself by taking up the cross of Lent, freely choosing it, then I will find myself being forgiving, checking my condemnation of others, my rash judgment. I'll find myself becoming more like you for being so close to you in this Lent. In my nightly examination of conscience, I can look with your grace, Lord Jesus, that you will send me, the ways to see that I hurt the others, or when I've seen that I have been wounded by others and I forgave it. I gave it to you, Lord, instead of holding on to it in resentment. Jesus, your whole life among us, walking among us, has been mercy and love, and your words that you leave us with, so much mercy and love, and your Eucharist among us, so much gift undeserved, your confession, our way back from falls, again, so unmerited. But Lord, you are a lover without measure, and you ask me to take up the grace that you make so abundant for me, especially in this time of Lent, to imitate you in that, to make it my new nature, the nature of you in me, and my words, my actions being Christ-like. I will be a Christ passing by. Yes, Lord, you preached this mercy, this stopping judgment, stopping condemning, and forgiving, knowing that if I am merciful, I will receive mercy. If I stop judging, I will not be judged. If I stop condemning, I will not be condemned. Lord, you know my heart, my passion. Help me, then, to hold on that I may forgive as I wish to be forgiven as well. In St. John chapter 7, the Gospel says, Nicodemus, one of their members who had come to him earlier, said to them, "Does our law condemn a person before it first hears him and finds out what he is doing?" They answered him and said, "You are not from Galilee also, are you? Look and see that no prophet arises from Galilee." We can see what transformation being with you and being open to you has done for even one of these, a member of the Sanhedrin. And he will be there at the end, at the time of your burial. And we look at St. Stephen when he is being martyred. His wonderful words, "Lord, do not hold this sin against them." Stephen, so conformed to you, also accepted that confirmation unto martyrdom. Lord, in this time of Lent, help me to come so close to you that I also may have this generous, generous heart when it comes to the wounds I receive, and so much like you I will be. I thank you, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask your help for putting them into effect. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.